Now tell me, you yourself, you are professor.
Well, sort of.
Well, come on, at University of Tulsa, and you are the poet laureate
I was.
2 times consecutively.
Right.
What does that entail?
Whatever you want to do.
Whatever? No.
No, it's true. It's completely undefined. You could probably do nothing. And actually, the 2 terms ended in 2007. After that, not Malamud, oh my gosh, marvelous Indian writer.
Yes, I remember. I remember that.
And so you can define, you do make certain public appearances. I went all over the state to schools encouraging writing, and I had a web challenge for Sestina, and if anyone wants it, they can write to me. It's still on my desktop, and I just shoot it out, how you do this.
How you do that? Okay, well,
Yeah.
we're going to run for more information about Nimrod, how to be involved, come to the wards. And now tell me, I also read that you would like to write playwriting is
Yeah.
actually what you enjoy more so.
Right.
Okay, so come on, Fran, let's put out some more plays.
Well, I tell you, I started out as a playwright because it's in my blood, right? And writing a play is the most all-consuming thing. I mean, it's hard to go away from it. As you know, who's coming through that door, and you have to remember, what happened last, and all the different characters, if you do different characters. So having children and writing plays was not working out. But a poem.
What a poem.
When your friend John was swimming, I could have my little pad. Or in the car waiting for someone at ballet, or pick them up at school. And you can always revise, and then you finally go to the computer, and, then you still revise. And so.
Wow. Well, you direct too. Remember when you directed us in David Fellshue's famous
Miss Evers' Boys.
Oh,
and you played Miss Evers.
Yes, and you directed us. So you also enjoy directing? I'm ready
yeah.
for you again to direct and write.
But, I'm getting old for directing. It's too hard work.
But you enjoy it.
Yes, I do.
Now tell me about your books that you wrote, Making Your Own Mark, a guide to writing and drawing for senior citizens. I found
Right.
that.
I think we didn't bring that up
We
here,
didn't bring that?
but we, for a while, I was an artist in residence for the state, which meant that I was hired, as a number of other people were, to go around to schools or different sites and teach.
Yes.
Well, it was sort of like a motto: if it's tough, let Fran do it. So I worked at the Center for the Physically Challenged and at Gateway Foundation, etc. And I did a senior citizen project with Madeline Rue, a wonderful art therapist. And we went to nutrition sites around the state.
Yes.
And the state arts and education sent a photographer with us. Well, the first photographer was a disaster because he set up, state sort of those umbrella lights. I don't know what you call them. And I said, no.
That's kind of harsh for the
Well, and I don't want, we've got little enough time with these people. So I found this marvelous photographer who is, his photographs are in the book. And I said, I don't want to see you. I don't want you to know you're there. And sometimes out of the corner of my eye, I'd see him up on, I don't know how he got up on the wall or something. But he was marvelous. And so from that, it is a book of writing exercises and physical exercises.
Oh, okay.
And drawing exercises.
And drawing. Because you also had one published for the disability.
Yeah, right.
Two.
Right. At Gateway for
Gates.
learning disabled, right.
Wow. And are they available?
Actually, no.
No.
I have 8 copies of the Gatesway book, and I cannot find any but this one that I brought with me of Making Your Own Mark. But we are thinking of doing a revised version of that, because you learn, you know, every time.
Now tell me, as a niece and daughter of a vaudeville dancer and journalist, how did your formative years, how did that influence who you are today?
Oh, well. First of all, okay, so this book is called Still Dancing. Let it be known, this is the last book of poetry.
Yes.
Let it be known that I am not a dancer.
But I've seen you do some moves. Some
I know.
moves.
Well, I
I've
played
seen you
Isadora
do that.
Duncan, but we don't. It's not really count. You know.
Okay.
It's just moving.
But you were moving.
Yeah, I was moving, and so I think again. I mean, my mother's 2 sisters. This is my mother. This is my mother
beautiful.
On this book.
The Trouble with Voices.
And this is her wedding picture.
Oh wow. Beautiful.
So you asked me one time, how did I get from the Bronx to
Oklahoma, and you said you flew. So I just said, okay.
Well, actually, it was because my mother died. So I moved when I was not quite 9. My father and brother and I moved to Brooklyn instead. And then when he died, I moved to live with my Aunt Isabel, who was a former vaudeville dancer, as was her sister May. So my mother's 2 sisters were in vaudeville. And those pictures are worth everything. In fact,
are they in the book?
Yeah, there are a lot of them in the book.
Oh, wow.
And but they gave up their careers early. I mean, but my Aunt Isabel went to. She played at the Palladium. She played in Australia, not just all around the United States. So, and then she became president of the American Theater Wing, so that gives the Tony Awards. So I was around that. I adored those people, and you know, maybe it was in the blood. But then there was the practical side.
The practical side, yes.
The grandmother who said, "Of course you will go to college, but of course you will get married and have a family, and of course you can do everything." So,
wow. Well, Fran, what is next on the horizon?
Oh,
I mean,
so cute.
It's just no telling what you might be involved with.
Actually, April 30th is the first ever poetry walk, and which Nimrod and the Oklahoma Centennial Gardens, Botanical Gardens, is co-sponsoring out at the new gardens. And it's going to be a blast. We're going to have, there is a path, and there are various sites on the path, like the rock garden, the moss garden, the persimmon grove, the lake and bridges, etc. And what we designated day before yesterday as the haiku tree, because the Japanese had a tradition of going out, having a picnic, writing a poem on rice paper and hanging it from the tree. So we'll have it already hung, pre-hung. However, there will be paper and pencil there, so people can add to the tree, people can read on the walk, people can be read to on the walk. There will be artists painting en plein air, whatever, and everyone is welcome.
Everyone is
April 30th, there'll be press on it, one hopes.
Okay.
And we'll send, but if you want to know right now, and you can't stand to wait for that, you can always call Nimrod.
We're going to run the web page for it, and for more information, you can contact Nimrod.
Absolutely.
Now, what words do you have for inspiration for aspiring writers? I want to leave those aspiring words that you always have.
I am not exactly filled with inspiring words today, but I would say it's more nitty-gritty than inspiring. That to keep with it, to keep reading, which too few writers do these days, young writers, and to keep writing and to keep revising and to keep reading out loud. You know, I think it's tomorrow, no, Saturday. I'm going to Oklahoma City to judge the Poetry Out Loud competition. And you learn, it's not just learning, that competition, you're reading someone else's work, but reading your own writing out loud is the best way to test it.
It sounds like spoken word. Are you in spoken word contests?
It's a little different because I am a firm believer in the page as well.
Yes.
So I want it to be on the page so that everyone else will know how to read it. If I'm the only interpreter, then I can, you know, sometimes.
Yes. With Paul
sometimes you read
different
something.
poems that
sometimes you
interpreted, and some in Maya Angelou's phenomenal. And I said, oh, I want to do it different. So I started singing part of it.
Right.
You know, something different.
Exactly.
Interpretation.
And sometimes, you know, people can perform so well, but then you see it on the page and it's not that great. Right. So to me, what you really want to do is have both. You want it to be a gift that you can give someone else, and therefore it's on the page. And then your performance is also a gift, but as you know, it comes and it goes, unless it's recorded, but then again, it's not the same as live.
That's true. Dr. Francine Ringold, thank you for being my guest.
Thank you for having me.
Remember, the nitty-gritty is what she says. Remember that, aspiring writers. We'll be back with more of Diversity Dialogue. Don't go away.